Long ago, before the forests were tamed and before men built palaces from stone, there was a kingdom called Umudike. It was a land blessed with gold, rain, and peace. Its people were prosperous, its warriors were feared, and its king, King Ozurumba, was the most respected man in all the surrounding lands. King Ozurumba ruled with wisdom, strength, and discipline. But there was one thing he valued more than his crown, more than his army, and even more than his throne. He valued truth.
He always said, "A king who lies is worse than a snake without venom."
And so he lived, day by day, holding tightly to honesty, justice, and honor. But even the wisest kings have secrets they cannot speak of. The king had one child, a daughter. Her name was Adayes. She was beautiful, but not just in the way flowers are beautiful. She had a mind as sharp as a hunter's arrow. Her words carried the weight of 1,000 drums. People said she was born with fire in her soul, the kind of fire that could light a kingdom or burn it to ash. The king loved Adis more than life itself, and she loved him too. He taught her to read the stars, to understand the language of elders, and to sit quietly in the sacred forest to hear what the earth was saying. But then came a prophecy. It was whispered by the blind seer who lived in the caves beyond the river.
"The throne will fall not by the hands of an enemy," he said, "but by the seed of the king's blood. One born of love, one destined to awaken what must stay buried."
The king laughed when he first heard it, but the second time he wept, and the third time he sent soldiers to silence the seer forever. Years passed, and the kingdom grew. Adaeze became a woman, brave, curious, and bold. She questioned things others feared to speak of. She walked where others dared not. She began hearing a voice in her dreams, a voice calling her to the forest. A voice that said, "You are not who you think you are." One day, Adeyeze disappeared. She was gone for 3 days and 3 nights. When she returned, her eyes had changed. She was quiet, thoughtful, and the next morning she asked to speak to her father alone. The guards said they heard shouting, then silence, then sobbing. The king did not eat for 2 days. He refused visitors.
And on the third day, he made an announcement. "By order of the crown," he said, "Princess Adaez is to be executed at sunrise."
The kingdom shook. People thought it was a joke, a mistake. How could a father kill the daughter he loved more than his throne? But the king was serious. He did not explain why. He gave no trial. He gave no reason.
Adaez, when asked to speak, simply smiled and said, "Truth is like fire. You can try to bury it, but it will still burn underground."
At dawn, she was led to the Cliff of Echoes, where royal executions were done. But just before the blade could fall, a storm unlike any seen before swept the land. Thunder cracked the skies. Lightning struck the royal drums, and in the chaos, Adaez vanished. Some say she was taken by spirits. Some say she jumped into the waterfall below and became one with the river. Others say she lives still, waiting for the right time to return. Now, you may wonder, what did she tell her father? What secret was so powerful that a king would rather kill his only child than let the world know? Let me tell you. Adaeze had uncovered a forbidden truth buried for generations. While in the forest, she found an ancient shrine, covered in vines and guarded by a spirit in the form of a black lion. The spirit spoke to her. It showed her visions of blood, of betrayal, of a crime committed by the very ancestors who built the kingdom. She saw a woman, pregnant, bound, accused of being a witch simply because she refused the king's love. She was burned under the sacred tree, but before she died, she cursed the throne. Her bloodline would return, and with it, truth would destroy the lies of power. That woman was Adaeze's true ancestor, not a princess by blood, but a descendant of a forgotten queen whose memory had been erased.
King Azurumba knew it.
He had hidden it all his life, because if the people knew, if the truth came out, the throne would no longer be his. It would belong to the bloodline of the woman they murdered centuries ago. Adaeze was the prophecy fulfilled. She was the seed of truth, and that terrified the king. So he chose to silence her. But truth, my child, is never silent forever. Some say she lives deep in the forest now. Others believe she speaks through the wind when the trees sway. And others have seen her walking in the villages, wearing a hood, asking children one question.
Do you know who you really are?
So when you hear a strange breeze at night, or when you dream of a woman with fire in her eyes, listen closely, because Adaeze might be near, and where she walks, truth follows. This is the story of why a king ordered his own daughter's death. But it is also the story of how, no matter how deep you bury a secret, the truth always finds its way back to the surface. Please like, comment, share and subscribe to our channel. Storytime.